Turn your life around for the final bell. It's now or never, you have to change well. It's now or never, you must change well. Hello, and welcome to another episode of the Change Well podcast. Now, before we start today's episode, I'd like to tell you about two other things. First, I recently was on the Service Academy Business Mastermind podcast, SABM. It was just released about 2 days ago. I'm going to post a link in case you would like to listen to that podcast. The second thing is there's an extra special trailer for this podcast with a video that does the song parody, which you'll hear later. So without a further ado, let's talk about our podcast today on Change Well. Now, we just got over Thanksgiving, but December's here. And for many of us, especially recovering food addicts like me, December is extra stressful. I love the holidays in December, but the month can be stressful. The cookies, candies, and cakes that are a fixture of the season can make it hard to stay on track with your weight maintenance. Equally so, December can be stressful for mental wellness, especially for those who recently lost loved ones. It can also be a lonely time for those away from family and friends. Shopping, preparing for company, and closing out work before departing for the holidays can also cause stress. I know when the kids were younger, my wife and I left work and rushed around frantically trying to get the last Furby or the latest Pokemon game. Equally stressful was Christmas Day. When the kids got the game, they were too young. They couldn't get Pikachu through the cave on the game I bought them, so I had to play it all day. It was stressful and kind of fun, but it took like 7 hours. And pretty soon they said, "Dad, can we have the game back?" And I said, "Yeah, here, please take it." Despite all this, I love Christmas. I look forward to the holiday festivities each year, but I often worry if I will make it through December with my fitness and sanity intact. You know, it's like that old Merle Haggard song, "If We Make It Through December." Here's a new chorus and verse of my devising. You can also click on the link and see a special video of this with some comic effects. So here it goes. If we make it through December, everything's gonna be alright, I know. It's a stressful time in winter, and I shiver when I see the falling snow. If we make it through December, got plans to exercise when it comes summertime. Maybe even do a burpee. If we make it through December, we'll be fine. Got stuck here down at the office. My boss wanted me to do some extra things. Got so stressed by the late departure. I went out and ate some dozen onion rings. I don't mean to gain weight in December. It's meant to be the happy time of year. But that lady just took the last Furby. So I went to the bar and I had a beer. I'm sorry I did it without the music behind me. And I also apologize to Merle's legacy. Now, as much as I maybe butchered that song, the sentiment is true. Making it through December is challenging for those who are watching their wellness. Here are 5 tips to help you stay track this holiday season. The first one is set boundaries and don't be afraid to say no. The season is not only the time of giving, but also the time for just saying no. I know it's difficult when grandma comes to you with the latest treat and says, "You must eat, you're getting too thin." But you know, that's not the case. And you already ate 3 treats. So, as hard as it is to say no to dear old grandma, you need to keep your weight under control. Now, how do you say no to grandma? Well, it won't go well if you don't practice. You need to say no diplomatically. For example, tell her that her fruitcake was just so good that you only needed one piece. She's such a good cook. And if she gives you another piece anyway, just take it home and enjoy it later. Finally, and more importantly, you need to set boundaries with your family and friends. This is especially important if you're an introvert. Believe it or not, I'm a little bit of an introvert. And big crowds, like some of the large family on my in-law side, can be daunting for me. Your Uncle George may want to talk to you for the first hour, but when he rambles on for the second hour, politely step away and take a walk. Everyone needs their space. The next thing is don't wait until summertime to exercise. I know it's hard to exercise when it's cold out. I even made a podcast and a blog on that. But finding the extra time during this busy season to keep up your regular exercise is important. So you must exercise and do not wait until the summer comes and the weather changes. Don't wait till summer to do that burpee. Well, if you can't do a burpee, don't wait till summer until you take that walk. The best way to exercise when it's cold outside is find an indoor venue. There is always a way to exercise, even in the coldest place like Des Moines, Iowa. I once exercised in Des Moines when it was 10 below zero in a blizzard by walking to their heated skyway at 6 a.m. If I can do it, you can do it. Another way to exercise during the holiday season is gamify shopping. See how fast you can run down the aisles with your shopping cart and get the groceries or presents you need. Think of other ways to gamify things. That's one I talked about here. I once did that in 10 minutes with two of my younger kids, toddlers, in a shopping cart, and they loved it. We called the game Crazy Cart. One last thing that makes exercising easier during the holiday season is working out with a friend. This lets you catch up before the festivities begin and get your sweat on. Now, I know we just talked about say no, but here's another one. Work can wait. Another person you must say no to is your boss, which is often problematic. When they come up to you with a last second request, you must remember that they probably will not recall that you did this for them 1 month later. But your child will remember the Christmas concert you missed their whole life. I noticed from experience working through the holidays on several proposals. One way to make it easier to say no to your boss and correctly set boundaries is to tell them up front your expectations. Plan with them the time that you will need to take off. Also, work with them to prioritize tasks so you both can hit your quarterly targets while reducing time away from family and friends. In my experience, and there's some exceptions, most bosses will work with you if you do it forthrightly and diplomatically. The next thing is the best gifts do not need to be the hottest gift. And I often search for the hottest gifts when the kids were little. My mom had a great observation about Christmas gifts when we were shopping for the kids when they were little. She said, you could get the best toy, but the toddlers usually play with the bow on the package. You do not need to stand in line for an hour to be stressed out or waiting for Amazon to deliver the hot toy on time. Just think about how much fun is a Tickle Me Elmo after you tickled it a few times. And trust me, that Furby I sung about earlier, we rushed around. It cost exorbitant money. That was a song, but it was true. And a Furby back in the 70s or 80s, whenever it was, can get downright annoying with its gibberish and constant need to be fed. Look it up on the internet what a Furby was. You'll see what I mean. It was the hottest toy at one time. Now, often the best presents we receive are not bought. I received during my childhood thoughtful surprises, many made by hand. Now, one that wasn't made by hand, but something was extra special to me was a chemistry set my parents got me without asking. I wasn't on my Santa's list. I was no young Sheldon, but my parents knew I loved academics. I completed every experiment in that kit, and to this day, I love science. And I love to teach it when I'm in our school and I'm subbing. The last thing is, and the most important, is remember the reason for the season. The holiday is meant for fellowship, family, and celebrating something higher than ourselves. My family celebrates Christmas each year when Jesus, the light that came into the world, was born. Other faiths have festivals of light during this time. Just three of them I can name off the top of my head: Hanukkah, Diwali, and Kwanzaa. But there are many more, and some of them are at different times, like Eid. This joy is to be shared among family, friends, and neighbors, not being stressed and not getting the next toy and not worrying about what you're going to eat next. For many of us, the light of these holidays may seem a little dimmer this year. We struggle to find peace with the ongoing conflicts in the world, but don't give in to the stress of the holiday season in the world. The best way to stay on track this December is to be thankful and celebrate the true meaning of Christmas and the holidays. Say a prayer for someone in need. Donate to charity. Most of all, we should honor the light that has come into the world with peace, giving, kindness, and thanksgiving. In closing, here is a poem I wrote on the true meaning of Christmas. God and man intertwined. He chose us and left heaven behind to dwell on earth and bring death to sin. This is when our true life begins. So today, when you open boxes, bows, think of the gift where all time flows. God seeking us come down from above in the heart of a babe, overflowing with love. Until next time, don't get stressed out searching for those Christmas gifts and trying to close quarterly sales, and try to avoid the onion rings. And until next time, change well.